get Hptlc spectrum should also be, we are now in the test functions and in the adjust functions. If you replace the completely unit of the photomolecule, you should start with get Hptlc spectrum, especially with the mercury lamp. And in normal case, you have also to adjust the both lamp only to check the light position, because after replacing the complete box, the beam of the lamp is not quite in the right that you have to measure. And also, if you don't want to adjust, what you can do also is, let me look here to measure. This is get Hptlc spectrum. This is what you see here is a diagram. And this diagram we have 1, 2, let me look here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 about. This is not written. Lines which are also written in the judgment of the diagnostics of the spectrum. And in normal case, you can start your get Hptlc spectrum. You will read the lines and see if they are in the right position. And in some cases, you have to change something to fix something. That means you have to change something on the screen who's on the back side of the mirror, or without touching, please. But in normal case, if you fix the after replacing the grid or the new one on the old position, that should be in maybe 80–90%. That should be okay. You can click only part, because then you can change this. And I want to say measure lamp, because if you have only measured the lamp, you have also the possibility in the end here to press in the end here the load, and it will automatically, after measuring, save the new position, because then it will optimize this part with this part. This is also written in the dialog of this part. And measured value can be over 100%. That can happen. That's why it's a special note. If you wonder why that we have more than 100%, in normal case it's not possible. The reference value is measured at the very beginning of the lamp life, and the lamp can gain its intensity after some hours probably. If you wonder why we have more than 100%, that can happen. And after selecting, the lamp system adjusts the lamp positioning of the selected lamp in adjust lamp. That's if load starts the adjust lamp, and will be safe also. It's identical to the one performs the new lamp feature from the user dialog. And the user dialog this part also, the user dialog, but also the qualification is he has also mentioned always qualification, but it's the same like for the diagnostic. And what you should know that in the diagnostic of vision cats, there's no automatic setting or automatic adjusting of the lamp. Then you have to start the adjust lamp or the measure lamp, and then manually have to do this. In wooden cats,
it's automatic.
Yes, it's automatic. It will ask you, software ask you, should we change the settings? Because it's not the lateral adjustment, it's not in the right position. That I want to repeat, because then I will change something. Automatically will be set to the right position. In vision cats, we are working on it, and I hope that we can, in the version, the release 2.3, I think, or 2.4, before we have all this, also this feature that we can automatically set the lamps in the right position. This is a little bit tricky. If you know it, you can cover it. For you, it's very important, because if the customer said no, it's not passed, then they have the possibility in one case to start manually this with new lamp, but only if this lamp is maybe not getting too old. Otherwise, you have to probably remember with the signals, with the noise, that the noise is higher than the signal, and the signal will not appear in the noise, what you can see on the diagram. But anyway, then reset the counter automatically if you make new lamp, always setting back for exception, you can use only this one. You can reset it to see how is really the lifetime of this lamp float. And then the init lamp is what is very important. What I want to say, the difference between the new lamp in user dialog and the init lamp in the source dialog is that for the VLAMP, you make a new initialization also with the VLAMP of the photo multiplayers. That means if you replace the photo multiplayers, you have to start the initialization of the first of the VLAMP, afterwards of the D2, and then from the Mercury, because then you set all settings are saved for the old PMs, and the reference of the PMs are the VLAN. That's very important. But don't forget not only to replace the photo multiplayers itself. Then you have, it's also written, you have to init the lamp test for the VLAN, and then for D2 and the Mercury lamp. But mainly for the VLAN, then you can start the diagnostics and see after initialization of the VLAN are they all passed. Because then you init lamp means that you're setting back to like factory settings, that you're like a new lamp. And if you change the photo multiplayers, you have to carry out this init lamp for the VLAN. That's very important. And then you can start the diagnostic. And this D2 lamp and the Mac lamp is also passed. It's okay. Or you have also make initialization for the other both lamps, for the deuterium and for the Mercury lamp. This really is you set it completely back. You make it only one time if you start or replace the photo multiplayers.
Photo multiplicadores y la lampa de Mercurio juntos.
No tenemos que reiniciar.
After selecting system measures and saves the new lamp set value, and about 100% the measured set values scaled about 100%, maybe then something more. And function similar to the new lamp feature in the user dialog. I'm going to see the last sentence. The features except for the VLAMP where the init lamp test is set for a new lamp found at each run. And what is not written here is that it's very important that you also should do this if you try or you have to replace the photo multiplayers. That's very important. Then it's written here in case of replacement becomes necessary the reference set. The VLAN reference, yep, just written here. It's 10 years ago that I was written this together with my colleague. I forgot it, but I know you have to do it, otherwise you have a wrong value.
So it's not convenient also if you have to change the both photo multipliers to change also the tungsten lamp. So
yes, you can do this if you want, because if you have a tungsten lamp, you can do this because it's in one way you can do this. Yeah, you're replacing the VLAMP and replacing the PMs together. Yeah, you can do this if you want.
But it's not necessary.
It's not necessary.
It's recommendable.
If you don't have sorry.
It's recommendable.
I recommend, if it's possible and you have it with you, the VLAMP, you can also change it. Yeah. And because you make a new initialization, in this case, it's like for a new lamp, because now you're setting your old lamp to a new set of version. Yeah. That's what the main is, that the reference is the VLAMP for the photo multipliers. That's why I always said, if you can do it, change also the VLAMP. Yeah. Not the Mercury or the deuterium is not necessary.
The deuterium and Mercury not necessary.
Only to measure if they are passed, because with the new photo multipliers, with the new initialization of the tungsten lamp, it could be that they are not passed because they are changed, or they are better. Could be also better because if the photo multipliers are from the noise are too poor, not enough noise, or they have from the maybe something's broken, then it's better to check first, step by step. Replace the photo multiplayers with the on right position, make the PA match test, then you make the everything is matching before you can make the initialization and replace the VLAN. If you have it, it's a cheap one. It's I don't know, $5. I think so. Not very expensive. And then, but you need with this VLAN, and then you make the initialization of the lamp test in the service dialog. But it's very important that you make this before you have a problem, because then you are working with the old settings. And maybe after 1 year the customer said, okay, now the PMs are again not passed. And then if you forgot to make the initialization of the VLAN, maybe that's one of the reasons. And of sure, then you have also to use very good conditions test sheet. So you see all depending of the test sheet. I have here an old one with me. Good morning. This is one of the old ones. And for this it's very important. And now let's make a self-test. Yesterday we started the self-test. And that's cool, because we only started with the same test sheet again. Problems with the connection sometimes. It's getting warm here.
Actually, they use those.
That's the right source.
Which one? Everything go?
Okay. Sometimes it takes 30 seconds. Yesterday, you remember when the problem with the tungsten lamp, here. Today I repeat this test. I fixed a little bit the test sheet position.
And that's all?
Then it's okay, yes. And we had also problems with
only position.
I only positioned this test sheet. But this. No, I won't. Right here. Remember? The positioning of the absolute positioning of the relative, the relative positioning of error of the. That is always the reason is that it's not in the right position and you have to fix it. And then we had also a problem here with the tungsten lamp. Then I can solve the problems with the position. It was okay. And then you see that was on borderline we had here with the tungsten. And then I started again. See here. You see also the history is very important to see the everything is passed. It is very important that you looked at the test changes in the right position. right fix. That's very important. And then Mohammed mentioned yesterday, if the scanner was passed with the old one, but not with the new one.
But
always think positive, but it's really sometimes we have problems with this test sheet. I know, because and then if you have you can compare with different kind, because this is the old one.
But this is the reason for out noise field.
But I don't know
Out
why,
noise field.
what
It's
is
from
the
sheet.
difference?
This is a new one.
This is the new one. You can give it and we have the reason that we changed, because the new one we also want to use it for the qualification and for also for the OQ. And the problem is sometimes that it's not the same quality. I don't know why. It should be the same producer or printed in the laboratory with a special printer.
Good one, bad one.
Yes.
Maybe the
Yes, there
Good
must
one,
be a
bad one.
difference.
maybe the type of ink that they are using are sometimes quite different.
I don't know what they are doing.
But I think out noise is not from this sheet.
That's why I said
Something.
it could be that the reason is not the scanner itself. It could be that it's not passed.
Maybe
The
Tengisten.
test sheet is not in the right position first, and the second. But if you have the possibility to change the
Mira, este
test
se
sheet,
llama blanco.
please, if you order.
Sí, porque esta es más vieja.
Or you take an old.
Y con esta falló.
No,
Con esta
con la
misma.
otra. Esa, con la
I'm not
nueva.
very happy with this, but even you see the difference from the one paper. So
No, are different.
White and switch on
Ujú.
white.
Es lo que dijimos también.
White
el
and
papel.
white.
Ajá.
Yes,
Mhm.
this is more white.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. And I'm not sure that if this white is really.
This is only for scanner 3. Scanner 3.
That's
No,
You can use it 3 and 4.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
You can use it for
I don't
both.
know why they changing.
Because-
they want to make more money for seeing sheet. This is without expired date. This is expired date.
You know,
Well, you can do qualification vision with this.
Yeah, yeah.
You can.
You have to. Pay this.
Yeah.
I know.
HPTLC plate.
I'm going to use this
Yeah,
for the
use
test
it.
of the
Use
video.
it.
You can use it.
Yes, that's true. And this
Yes.
also, we found usually the diagnostic it's pass
With this.
always. Always pass.
And now I want to also to repeat.
And that depends on the position.
Tungsten.
No.
Mm-hmm.
I put them by myself with the same position with everything. I check with the guard, everything.
What we have here, I know I put in without a test sheet. I put in
What one?
HPTLC plate. HPTLC plate.
HPTLC.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what could be that is not passed. What for me is very important is the noise.
Mm-hmm.
It's very important, and okay, the lateral adjustment could be and the slit illumination. Maybe it's not passed because for the slit illumination you use this this part here, and on the HPTLC plate there's nothing.
Yeah.
But there's maybe you have not an unexpected value. Maybe it's not passed. But for me, it's only to see mainly if everything works. Only to see because in the scanner too, in the beginning we had first HPTLC plate for the lamps inside to see are the lamps in right.
You put the
And
blank
then-
plate.
and then
Blank plate.
a blank plate where you want like a virgin blank plate which without substance. And later we put this inside. It's 20 years ago, but I remember this about feeling 18, you know. But then we put only this in for to measure the dimensions, the settings of the slit, and from the axis, from X and Y axis. But that's not. I only make this for example. I put in now to see it's passed. Yeah, with the HPTLC plate.
Mm-hmm.
Out not place.
We had here. I don't know if we can start it now.
Just to.
We have to wait and we have to compare
Mhm.
if that's different from in the morning with the new test sheet and with the HPTC, but if that's different.
No, no, no.
This is imperfect. The output noise work. Why does not work with the sheet? Okay. this is not related to the position. The output output noise. It's not related to the position. Why was not passed with the cheat and it's passed now with the blank bit?
That's a good question. I don't know why.
Me also. I found it. I faced this case before, but I don't know why. But when I try to adjust the lamp position, it's okay. But
it's
now
maybe it's measuring intensity of the lamp because it's working in the carousel like this way, and then it's looking where is the highest peak, the intensity with the PMs. Because we have this wheel lamp is also for the reference, and that's why. Because at the beginning we start without any HPTLC or any test sheet. You start new lamp because when you remember when you start PMS or anything else, there's put in the HPTLC plate or TLC plate and start this procedure. And here we don't need this. Here is only the intensity. That means the PMs are directly measuring this position. Maybe it's in the substance free zone. Yeah, that's only because it's not illumination. We cannot measure because we cannot compare with another dimension. That's what I expect. But anyway, because that's normal. But you see what is very important. The first one is the output noise. It's very good, and the adjustment is also okay. I accept it, and now I want to compare it with the history. Yeah, that's a bit different. Even it's not passed here, you see the value, it's 0.097 the TLC plate. And if you go here, it's not passed because it was the measure. No, the other one which was passed. But it's higher. It's higher. That means for me, there's, if you check with HPTLC or TLC plate, which is blank and new one, and only this both position, then you are sure that if this is not passed, and if the HPC will pass, the lamp is okay. For you want it for information that you know, because in real time, in real situation, you are measuring with a TLC plate or HPTLC plate. If you have a HPTLC plate, it's much better because it's structure. And you see it passed because here the values are maybe it's higher, much higher than with the past, because we had here 0.09, that's only to be sure that something is wrong with the test sheet. Because here you need the test sheet, because otherwise you have this illumination uniformity is not part. We have here 0. Nothing. You cannot compare with anything, and that's one. Okay, that's what you can do for each lamp. But mainly for the tungsten lamp, you know, if the tungsten lamp gives you this value, with this, you know that that's everything is okay with the lamp. It's problem is the test sheet. You have to replace if you have one.
This test with the plate is only for the tungsten lamp. You can do it with the.
For example, I use it for the tungsten. We can because the problem is you will not pass here with the illumination.
But if the deuterium or the mercury lamps also have a noise, it could be the same problem. Could you?
Yeah, because you're using the same test sheet. Because the procedure is the same. That means something is on the test sheet is not okay. Sometimes you know that you're not searching, something is wrong with the lamps or with the photomultiplier, then you know, if you make this measure and the first 2 lines are passed, you know, and it's not passed with the test sheet, something with the test sheet is not okay, not with the scanner. That's what I find out, and maybe it's helpful for you. That you are searching everywhere, confused.
Mhm.
Oh, shit, it's not working, sorry. And
What
they
they
can
think
explain
is
that something
that
with the
you want
test sheet is not
to
okay.
cheat them
And that's
with-
why it's better
Yeah,
to
yeah,
carry
yeah.
an
That's
old
what
one
they
with
think.
you and a new
I'm
one if
trust
you have
them, but the customer not.
Yes,
And this is meaning
HPTLC
this still have a
if you
problem.
then you
Even
know
with the black.
You
very
still have these the old ones or only have the new ones?
I try.
Or people now ask them what one.
Because for the future we have to use the new one.
Yeah, okay, but you still have this right now in your warehouse.
I have it a lot because I also carry with me an HPTLC plate in aluminum
Okay.
foil, and you want order completely new then.
If I'm going to order a new one, I'm going to obtain this, or I can obtain this also.
For the new one we have only the new one. The old we don't deliver. That's the problem.
You don't have
this
anymore.
Even for scanner 3 we use the new one. That's why I said I recommend if you don't know what is going on, it's better to check, put in a HPTLC blade or TLC blade and to repeat this procedure and look when you see this passed, you know, something is not okay, it's going on with the, it's not perfect with the
You see,
test sheet.
the problem is whenever you change from the sheet to the blade, the customer thinks that you want to just get a pass.
That's very important.
You think you just pick up
You can explain him.
snake way
You want
finish.
to see maybe that I have to make something wrong. I want to check it now with a real measuring, because the real measuring is with the HPLC plate.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
But if I repeat it with after blank plate with the sheet
Because
and
you have to use-
filled again,
You have to use the test sheet, but you have the possibility to check, and that's why we said, oh, keep it on a dry place, where it is also covered in a special black part. And don't put it on maybe where the sun is lighting, that it is always dry and flat, and look that the position is okay. I'm not very happy with this. But
And the customer is going to be in the car, yeah?
Everything development research
tick, 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 tick.
we need for the future to trust this test sheet. And why do you produce this one? This is
you can ask
I don't want to
the
say
people
what
here to adjust
it
it
works.
more.
Sometimes it works, but if you don't trust this, I say to you because you're the service engineers and you're outside close to the customer, and you can explain to the customer, okay, first I want to look if there's a problem. And sure, the customer asks, why do you need this test sheet? Then okay, maybe there's something else wrong with this. It's a little bit tricky to say. Yeah.
Not good impression.
No,
I know,
exactly.
but it's better to say the truth.
Yeah, of course.
For
I
me,
say the
because
truth.
then you wonder why it's not working, and said, oh, Fred told me there is a problem with the test sheet. Really, there is a problem. We had also problems with this. And for to measure the dimensions, it's okay. Maybe everything is passed, only the lines, that output noise, and maybe even lateral adjustment, we don't need this test sheet. Only that the noise is a problem. This is the mostly problem that the noise is not passed. Caused in this test sheet, and then you can repeat. Okay, I just look, and with this HPTLC blade, it's passed. Maybe that is with the ink or with the structure of the test sheet is not perfect. It's different to the test blade. Yeah. Because otherwise you get crazy that I don't understand.
Where is it?
I'm confused. What is the reason? And now you know what is, and you said, remember this now. I know. You can explain. It's not perfect, I know. I'm working on a solution, but
Please,
it's not my decision, because I don't want to have this. I want to.
Sí, porque pasa que
if it's possible, I said, let's go back to this position, because then
Sí, pero explícaselo al cliente.
I think it's better. But
Es decirle la verdad.
with this, we want to sell also for the future, not the plate for the OQ, that we use this one for vision cats.
Pero en una actualización deberían mejor eliminar esa.
This test sheet will be
En alguna actualización deberían eliminar
Only
Esa
that you
prueba.
have the
No,
situation and
no,
you see
porque es prueba del equipo.
Sí.
voice is not passed
O en
to
todo
this
caso,
position. That
hacerlo,
you know, that you remember
dejarlo,
my
pero solamente
words.
que se use la placa blanca, que lleve las instrucciones, sacar
Technically,
la
okay,
hoja,
we understand
poner la
this.
placa.
No,
it's
es muy
not the
complicado
problem
que
of the
estés-
scanner works.
Yeah,
Porque en la,
Technically,
en el
we-
visualizer se cambia varias cosas.
we understand the
But
situation.
Usually, you are trying to be the boss of the service, and now try to investigate and to go to the research and development and said, okay, we need another printout of this test sheet, which is working like the old one.